Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for one of our In Conversation series. I am really delighted today to be joined by not one, but three guests from MarketLogic, who are just joined the Mission Partners program. They are a leading B2B agency, a specialist in B2B, based out of Mexico, but with offices across the entire region. Hernan, Astrid, it's great to have you with us. Great to have you on the call. Great to have you as part of the Mission Partner Network. I guess probably the best way to start is I'll go around and I guess you introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about how you started your careers.
Great. Thank you, Paul. This is a nice new start, but we've been in contact for almost 10 years already, and we have some success cases to share as well. So first of all, I want to introduce part of my team. Past Terluk, she's partner of MarketLogic, and she's the Mexico country manager. She's based out of Mexico. And Astrid, she's an account director. She's based out of the region. She travels often, so
she's everywhere.
Mexico, Central America, in Miami, in Argentina. She's all over the place, and she has a very strong relationship with the mission partner called Nelson Smith. So she's here to share some experiences working with MarketLogic. So now, Paz.
Well, thank you so much for having us here. It's a pleasure to be part of Mission. And yes, as Hernan said, I'm country manager of Mexico, but I have 10 years of experience in marketing, in publicity. I began as a B2C marketer, but then the B2B world allured me and I really loved it. So I specialize it and it's my passion now.
Hey, Astrid, how about you?
Yeah, well, like Hernan was saying, I'm an account director here at MarketLogic. I'm all over the place. You know, I've got a master's in strategic planning as well, and it's been helping me a lot, you know, with the things that we do on a daily basis here at MarketLogic. And I've been working for MarketLogic, I think, for about 6 years now. So it's been a great experience, and we're looking forward to, you know, getting new opportunities with you guys as well.
Cool.
Yeah, a couple of things about myself. I was born in Argentina. I moved to US more than 20 years ago. I'm based out of Miami. I'm second generation of advertisers. My father founded one of the best agencies in Argentina in the 70s. He was part of the Mad Men generation. So when I started working when I was 15 in the agency, I was raised around TV spots, radio spots, ads, and everything. But as a teenager, I was a rebel as well. So how do you rebel against a guy? A creative guy. So I studied law and I became a lawyer. It's the opposite thing. So, but after getting that degree, I went back to advertising. And a couple of years later, I moved to US where we created MarketLogic, that we are going to go over that now.
Yeah, no, thank you all. And I love the idea that you have this weird juxtaposition in your career of being a lawyer and a sort of madman at the same time. I think it's a beautiful blend. As you say, we've known each other for a few years, and I think MarketLogic is truly quite a unique proposition in so many ways, in what you do and the whole geographical region that you're able to cover and the things that you're able to deliver. Could you guys maybe sort of give us an outline of how the business started, the proposition and what you do today, please?
Sure. MarketLogic was created in the year 2000. Was created in Miami, so we are an American corporation, and that's a huge advantage for our clients because when you speak about Latin America, they trust much more an American corporation than a Peruvian corporation or a Colombian corporation. So that's a huge advantage for multinational companies. Going back to our story, We founded MarketLogic in year 2000 in Miami, and we started since day one working for multinational companies. Through the years, they started asking more and more activities in country, so they needed help locally in Colombia, in Peru, in Mexico. So we started opening our own offices. And at one point, we replicated the same structure that they had. So now we are more than 180 people. We have 8 offices around the region, and we can work globally, regionally, or locally. So we have full teams in every single country, and that's a huge advantage for them.
Yeah. And Paz, you sort of manage this all out of Mexico, as I understand. That's correct. Yeah, that must be quite a logistical exercise in itself, I guess.
Yes, but as Hernan said, we are used to work not only locally, but regionally and globally. So we always have communication between the offices. As Hernan said, we have offices in Miami, here in Mexico, in Guatemala, Chile, Peru, Colombia, Argentina, and Brazil. So we all work together. Yes, it's challenging to manage a big team, but we are really united. We are always like a mirror of our clients. No, if our clients have teams in different countries, we put teams there to help them locally, to be their support. So yes, it's a challenge, but it's a beautiful one, and you always learn about it. So it's good. And as MarketLogic, we always develop and grow as our clients' needs. So we maybe began with a little structure, and these past 24 years that we have as a company, we are now a global agency with a 360 things to do. So we also develop a methodology that we call SMASH, and that's our hit. And what it means, SMASH? SMASH is Sales and Marketing Achievement. And that's all that we want with our clients, to create these habits in the marketing and the sales teams. So everything that we do, it moves because of the ROI. We want to give our clients this return of investment in every single thing that we do. So we always plan with them. We make all the strategy of the campaigns. Then we work specifically in demand generation, digital, with events, with our own contact centers. We have a big team, a contact center team, and we make like this tactic specifically for every need of our clients. And then we have this team that makes the acceleration growth. They accelerate the sales, working with them, incentivize them, maybe with some incentives, trainings for their sales force, and that's the mean that we work with them. So it's nice.
It sounds like a complete solution, really, for the clients across the region, which is probably really why, I guess, I mean, it sort of resonates with a client, because they can come to you and you can deliver everything wherever they need it to be, I guess. Is that right?
Is that right? And we work with different industries with the clients. We work with clients such as Adobe, IBM, Intel, HPE in technology. We work with PayPal, MoneyGram, MasterCard in finance. We work with Schneider Electric, Generac in energy. We also do some B2C work. We don't say no to that. We work with Motorola, with Toyota, but our strength is in B2B. And then we have a case with Liugong that we work with another partner, with another agency partner, and now I'm going to leave Astrid to tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, what Liugong is, because maybe it's important.
Yeah. So yeah, like Paz was saying, we already have a partnership with one of the partners. from the mission, and basically it's been great. So the client is Lugon. They are a manufacturer for heavy equipment and forklifts. They have all these different products, and they are the ones that fabricate the products out of China, and then they have all these dealer network across the world, right? So it was a really great opportunity. This was introduced to us by Nelson Smith was introduced to us by you, Paul. And you know it. It's been great. The partnership started back in 2021. And it all started because the need was, they were doing great in North America. Nelson Smith was doing an amazing job in North America, but they needed a partner that was able to oversee the Mexican region. They wanted someone to, they specialized in, or that the brand that we oversee is Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean, and they needed someone with that expertise to be able to handle all of that region, right? As I said, Nelson Smith was doing great in North America, but they also needed someone that was a local expert, right? That could, like we've been saying, was able to work regionally, but was also able to work locally, right? Um, so we started with that, back in 2021. We started with specific tactics. They needed brand awareness. They needed, they've never done anything specific in the region, or pretty much the only thing that they were doing was social media, organic social media. So we grabbed all of that. We grabbed all of the current strategy, and we made sure to improve that strategy. And that evolved into so much more during 2023, right? So with the partnership that we have with Nelson Schmidt, it's been great. This past year has proven really good success for the client. There was a request specifically for 2023 that they wanted to introduce the brand to the audience in a much more stronger and aggressive way, right? So the request was to create a creative concept and a campaign around something that was out of the box. Usually the competitors in this industry would just talk about the technical aspects of their products, and they wanted to move away from that. They wanted to do something different, and that's what we did, right? We partnered with them to create the creative concept that was going to start the whole campaign, creating headlines, creating descriptions, things like that. And then Nelson Schmidt, for example, took on design, right? And then we took over certain applications and things like that. We took over the strategy in Mexico specifically. So it's been great, And I want to tell you something really interesting, because in just 4 months, we were able to reach numbers that the client had never seen before in this region. So we have around 144 increase in active users. There's 111% increase in user sessions, and 72% increase in engaged user sessions. So that's really interesting. It's great numbers to be able to achieve in just 4 months. It's the campaign has been active for 4 months, and we're expecting to create many more strategies for the client in alongside with Nelson Smith, but in not just Mexico. We want to take over Central America. We want to cover the Caribbean, as that's their main focus, right? And this is just to prove that partnerships are a really great way to prove that you can achieve success. Like, for example, they are based in the U.S. We also have offices in the U.S., but we also have offices in Mexico, and that's how we came together to create that campaign, right? So yeah, that's a little bit of what we've been doing with Nelson Schmidt and this client that I was mentioning, and it's just been really interesting to oversee that whole project, right? It's been challenging, but it's like Pat has said, it's a beautiful thing to have, right?
Yeah, no, I caught up with Nelly when I was at Nelson Smith's office in the summer this year, and showed me the work. And I think the thing that really resonated for me looking at it was the lengths you guys went to make it localized to a colloquial level. So it actually the copy
Yes.
really resonated with the local market. So obviously the payoff is in the numbers and what you've managed to achieve in what, 4 months, which is pretty extraordinary. I'm just wondering though, I mean, when you're working with Nelson Schmidt or another agency, let's use the Nelson Schmidt example. Are you working, because the client is Chinese, so are you working through Nelson Schmidt or do you work directly to the client? Is it a mix of the both? Because obviously you're the experts in what you do. Do you get to stand in front of the client and say, we do this because?
Yeah, it's a mix of both actually. So we in just as an internal process, we actually have a daily, sorry, a weekly meeting scheduled with Nelson Schmidt to, and that's just internal, just MarketLogic and Nelson Schmidt to be like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we need to do, this is what's working, what's not working, and same goes for them, right? They tell us what they're doing in the region, what they're planning on doing, what has worked and what has not worked. And for example, we have meetings with the client as well, where both Nelson Schmidt and MarketLogic come together. We've even done reporting together. The way that reporting works is really interesting because we present what the North American region is doing, and then we also present what the MCC, as we call it, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean, the MCC region is doing. So it's a mix of both. You get requests from the client specifically that just apply to the region. There are some requests that apply to both regions, and then that's how we work, right? So it's really a mix of both, which is great. Honestly, I think it's better to make sure that we're all aligned towards the same goal, right?
Yeah, and at the beginning of the year, we have a launching session in Mexico between the client and both agencies. So we spend an entire couple of days in a hotel working and trying to decide the structure and the strategy for the entire year. But we work very closely with the client and Nelson Smith.
Cool. Okay. I think what's really interesting, I think sitting as a European, and obviously we have a 27, 28 countries, depending on however you count it, of course, across the EU. But it's quite a different structure when you look at your part of the world because of the way the markets operate there, and perhaps they are a little bit smaller. Some of them are obviously massive if we look at places like Brazil or Mexico. So I guess you have the ability to delve into those markets at a very, very granular level is super important, and therefore you can actually do that from a sort of centralized offering, be it out of Mexico or wherever, can't you? And then just localize it in country. It's a slightly different approach than perhaps one might take in Europe.
Yes, we work. I always say that, just as you said, Brazil and Mexico are like these big geographies and where every client wants to be, because I think it's like a step before the rest of Latin America. So you can try the water, see how the market responds to the campaign in Mexico and Brazil specifically. And then, as we said, we localize every content, because yes, almost everyone except Brazil speaks Spanish, but it's not the same language. We have different words, different ways to see the things, but you can try it in Mexico and then localize it to Colombian accent or Argentinian, and that's the way that we work. We localize every asset, every messages of the brand to be well received by the public. So yes, Mexico and Brazil are really big, but Latin America in general has a very young population. It's very vibrant, and everyone is open to see new things, new campaigns. So it's a really good place to be in, where the brands wants to be. And yes, it's exciting. Obviously, we have political changes and some things that are not always work, but we always see the growth of the region despite everything that may occur, and we learn how to take leverage of this, and that's what we offer to our clients, to give them the best that Latin America can provide.
Great. And actually, just to pick up on that last point, because as we sit here today at time of recording, it's the 22nd of December. So we're getting towards the end of the year. And I was just wondering if I could ask you guys, I mean, you mentioned, changes politically and stuff. I mean, the next year will be an interesting one with changes in the States, and a lot of European elections, which are likely to reshape the political and therefore the economic landscape across some big economies. Where do you see the opportunities in Latin America and your region as a whole, perhaps? And this is a huge question, I appreciate it. But where do you see the big opportunities for the next 12, 18 months, as much as you can tell?
Well, as I said, despite every change, we see opportunity in the whole region. Of course, there are some countries that can say this is not the moment for this country, but we always see like the growth. Everything in Latin America goes up. Everything can work despite everything. And it's a very rare situation because, as you said, maybe you think in some countries that has political problems and there's no more money, there's no more investment, but that's not occur here in Latin America. So we always see this positive line that in our market, everything is good.
But, and I guess, sorry, Hannah, go on.
No, I think we work 100% for multinational companies. And really we see that most of the local businesses are struggling, but there's always space to grow for multinational companies. They are always welcome, they have budgets, they can push and grow the market, and that happens every single year, and we can see it through our clients. And we, as Paz was mentioning before, we are pretty much into sales. We are like, we are part of the pre-sales department of our clients. We are measured by pipeline. So we need to bring business to the table. So we have access to their numbers and we can tell that they are growing. It's not easy, it's not an easy region, but they are growing. And on MarketLogic side, we know that from outside Latin America, it looks like a really hard and difficult region to work. And our main task is to make things possible. That's why we have a very big team and we are all over the continent. So our mission is to try to make Latin America easy to work for our clients, and we want them to see us as a partner that we can handle the entire region on their behalf. And we have several cases where the team that MarketLogic puts in place in the region for our clients is much bigger than the client's team. So some clients, they run their business through us. And we help them in marketing, in communications, in pre-sales, in sales. We manage their sales force. So we are pretty much involved in their daily operation. And again, in pipeline and sales, rather than being an advertising company. We are focused on ROI, and that's how and why we grow.
Okay. So in terms of as a business, what would your expectations be for 2024? Are there areas that you particularly want to focus on that perhaps our mission partners and our colleagues out there can connect you and help you with?
Yes, as Hernan said, we have our focus and our expertise in this ROI for our clients. But as I said before, we don't say no to another type of campaigns. As Astrid was saying, will you go with work in the creative, in out of home? So yes, we want to focus on demand generation on 2024. We want to take leverages of some other regions. We are seeing some growth in countries like Ecuador, Paraguay. So we are putting our eye there in Central America. We know which countries are the big ones in the region, but there's movement all over the place, and we are there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some important thing that what we can see is that our clients or the marketing teams are getting smaller and smaller in every part of the world, but we can see it in our region. How do they solve that? They need more external help. So that's why their marketing teams are smaller and smaller, and our agency is bigger and bigger, because they use our agency to support their business. So we need to have them in more and more activities. That's why we are pretty much into sales as well. And for every single agency in the world, the best position to be is as closer as sales as possible, because we become an important partner inside the client. We help them with pipeline, we help them with revenue. So the conversation is completely different. It's not an agency. Of course, we as MarketLogic, we believe in branding as an important part of the mix. But what makes us strong is participating in pipeline, revenue, and sales.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the interesting and very distinguishable points about your business, is the fact that you're very measurable in that respect from the client's point of view. They can, you know, you're not just spending their money, you're making money for them, and they can measure where that is coming from. Great. Guys, we're very nearly out of time, and as I said, it's the 22nd of December, so I seriously need to go and buy some Christmas food and do some wrapping of gifts and things, much against my better judgment, I hasten to add. But just before we go, obviously you are spread across the region, and if any of our colleagues out there wanted to connect with you, learn a little bit about the region, I assume that's okay, but how do they go about doing it? Who's the best person to approach?
Any one of us, they can talk to me, they can talk to Hernan. We are open and glad to talk with another partners, and we can help you in anything you need in media, digital, just to take a virtual coffee and talk a little bit. So we are here for you, and I think you, Paul, can give us our email and WhatsApp, whatever means you need to contact us, we are available for you.
And we are going to be attending the summit in London in March, so looking forward to meet the mission team and the mission partners as well.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to welcome you to what I hope won't be too much of a wet London in March, but fingers crossed. Paz, Astrid, Hernan, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining Mission Partners, and I wish you all the best for the end of the year and every success as we go into 2024. Thank you for becoming a Mission Partner.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, Paul.
Enjoy the family time.